so amazing. Just, where am I? I'm here. I'm plug in my mics. Pinchy on my dress. That's over here. Obviously, I'm a sign language interpreter. I love the deaf community. I work for the deaf community and with the deaf community, but I've not gone on holiday with the deaf community. Like, I've not gone on holiday with a group of deaf people, and I've not done yoga with a group of deaf people before. So it was a whole new experience, being away, being in a social environment, but doing yoga. Guys, anyone that is into yoga needs to know about deaf yoga, because I don't know about you, doing all the positions and the poses and all that stuff with yoga, like, that's fine. Like, I can do that. I'm quite good. I'm quite flexible. I'm quite strong. But for me, the yoga of the mind is like the biggest and hardest thing for me. Being able to quieten the mind, direct your mind back to yourself. And when life's so fast-paced and just audible, it is really hard. So when I go into a yoga session normally, the person's talking, I'm focusing on their voice, and in a way that's distracting me from my own internal voice, because I have a seriously loud inner monologue. Like, I can literally hear conversations I have with myself constantly. So when I go into a yoga session and it's time to kind of switch off and wind down, I'm trying to focus on the music or the person guiding me. But in deaf yoga, I didn't have that. I had to rely on my eyes, and I had to use different senses to guide me through it. And boy, was my thoughts fucking loud. They were loud. They were so loud and distracting and concerning, because I've got a lot going on at the minute. You know, this week happened very randomly. So someone pulled out and I just looked at my calendar and went, could I make this happen? Shit, I could. Some of my jobs could get covered. My kids could get covered. I didn't want to leave my older daughter, but I knew I had to, because she's going off to university in September. You know, she's getting older, so a week on her own to practice being on her own was hard. But, you know, it's one of them things you have to let them do. Like, I literally didn't give her any food. Normally, if I go away, I will fill the fridge. I didn't give her any food. I just gave her money. I said, you go and do your shopping, you feed yourself. She went to work. She's done bits and pieces. But I can tell she's missing me and she wants me to come home. So I will be flying home today. But yeah, this whole experience has been incredible. I've had to learn to turn off my voice. And for someone that talks a lot, it's been hard, but also really rewarding. I've been to yoga retreats before where they literally have people that will do a 24-hour silence, and I was like, oh my God, that'd be torture for me. But when you're in kind of a place of self-reflection, it's really beneficial. And for me also, one area that I am inadequate as a mother, 110%, is being too quick to respond verbally. Like, I feel like I have to say something useful. I feel like I have to give advice. I feel like I have to, you know, fix the situation or give a golden nugget of wisdom or just something. And like with my kids, sometimes they're like, Mom, we just want you to listen. We don't want you to speak. So me not speaking this whole trip and just using my sign language has been amazing. In fact, to the point where I literally might go home and just start signing at my kids. And then when they really want me to talk, I can just be like, oh, you really want this? Okay, I'm going to give it to you. And I might voice it over. But like, even with this week being, you know, everyone's deaf. So there was 2 people that were hearing, 2 interpreters. And obviously I'm talking to them, and they politely reminded me that I have to sign and talk at the same time because, you know, that's just well mannered, really. It's just you don't talk and just because I can see everyone else's conversations, because with sign language we have access to everyone's conversations around us. So if I'm in a mix or in a group of people talking and they haven't got access to my conversation, private conversation, but not, you know, access nonetheless, it's not making it equal. So my friend was just like, get into the habit of signing whilst you're talking. So I've got into the habit of that. But then, like, I realised I just speak random shit all the time. Because I'll just be there, I'll just speak out my thoughts. Like, I speak them out. And then when I spoke them out in the silence, in the sign language group, I'm just like, why did I say that? Why did you? There was no need for you to just fart out your thought verbally. Just shut up, Hayley. So I've become extremely conscious of how much verbal farts I have, which is fine. It's fine. It's who I am. But being conscientious of maybe like not doing that as much. I wrote down some things because I wanted to, like in the moment, I was just having such a, oh my God, this is an amazing moment when I was doing the yoga. Beth, who runs this, has honestly, she has unlocked something that I just, hands down, like I know there's maybe like one or two other people in the world that does sign language yoga, and Beth is just, she's more than just a yoga teacher. She's a spiritual, embodied healer, where she really helps people heal and find happiness and peace. And how she does that is I know, because she's a CODA, I know that she's her first language is sign language. Her first language is sign language, but she's hearing. So she has the perspective of a yogi that's hearing, but then a person whose first language is sign language. And you just see it as an interpreter who's a geek in this area, like, you know, interpretation, visual communication, that's my jam. To watch it, and I've been on hearing retreats, but to watch it be delivered in this way was just like, wow, babe, you have literally smashed it. Like the way she delivers it, her flow, her style, her translations, everything is so beautifully visual. The meditations are so visual. For example, she would describe a lift, walking into a lift. She would take you visually around the meditation, which is brilliant for me because my mind does get distracted. So if I can envisage something, if I can look at something and envisage it, it helped me so much. Like going up in the lift as the breaths increased, opening the doors, going out to the beach, meeting your inner child, all that kind of stuff was just beautiful, and it worked. It hands down worked, because with yoga, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes someone will say something and it just didn't quite fit, you know. You go to church, the sermon had no impact. You go to yoga, you did movements, but really you didn't connect. But the way she delivers, it works, and yeah, super impressed. Also, the lack of audible control, or the way you can't just rely on sound and speaking people through the practice. Her eyes are super sharp, like her eyes are looking constantly at people's positions, so she's constantly connected to everyone. I think as a hearing yogi, it must be easier to just repetitively go through the verbal guidance and the verbal movements, but then kind of you're just in your own space. But because she's visually giving it, she's constantly, and she's an interpreter, she needs to know if everyone's got it. She's, you know, spotting that everyone's getting the right balance, shape, posture, position. So, and she doesn't need to say, you over there. She just can do it very subtly. That's the one thing about deaf people, is that subtle things are big things. Like they can communicate so subtly. Yeah, that was apparent for me watching her and watching this yoga practice for the last few weeks. Even now talking, this is like probably the most talking I've done, and I just want to shut the fuck up. Like, I know this is a podcast, but I feel the universe going, Hayley, shut up. Yeah, the lack of words this trip has helped me truly reflect. I think words, pressure to deliver words, the pressure to hear words, the pressure to just constantly absorb words can maybe be responsible for a lack of connection and cause a disconnect, because when you're trying to find the right words, you don't feel. And for me, sign language is a lot about feeling. You know, like if you're feeling sad, you don't need to say anything. It's just there on your face. And people came over to me repeatedly this week going, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Because we learn to know our faces, and that's a grammatical feature in sign language, your facial expressions. But it's a feeling one as well. Like if I'm feeling upset, I don't need to find the words. It's just there. I'm delivering it, communicating it, and I don't need to find the words. And I think sometimes maybe when we verbalise so much, the struggle of cognitively trying to process and find the words to match the emotion, the disconnect happens. But I'm sounding so woo-woo right now, but being in this desert with sign language, with yoga, with meditation has just really probably helped me return home completely centered. I've done a lot of retreats. I don't feel like I've ever felt this more, like, content and at peace. So I'm really grateful for Beth. And if you are part of the sign language community, please get involved in this type of activity. So many interpreters or people that learn sign language are like, how do I connect with the deaf community? You know, I want to progress my language, and it is hard, but now deaf people are like thriving because they are getting access to things like this. Things like this are popping up. Social media is massive, and if you can do something that you enjoy with the deaf community, your sign language is gonna thrive. So the person that I replaced was a lady that was staying with a guy. So I'm actually staying with a guy right now. And he's just lovely, though. He's really lovely. And I think the universe was in control because I was the perfect person to stay with him. He's a speaker. He's himself kind of relies on his voice and his cochlear. And he's gone on a journey. We've all gone on a journey, but it's been wonderful to watch him on his journey, trying to navigate not using his voice as well. So the two of us have been talking lots, and we are definitely going to do a podcast because he watched one of the episodes I did with Amy Morton about living with hearing loss, and I could see him getting emotional. Like, your identity is so tied into your language. My language has been a lot of waffle, a lot of impulsive, responsive, not a lot of active listening. So yeah, I'm going back home today. I will do plenty of videos vlogging this whole Moroccan experience. I just really wanted to do a video where I kind of just hopefully got out the feelings that I am feeling right now, and that is just at peace and just grateful for the opportunity to come. I've met some incredible women that have given me a lot of life advice. I think for me, because I don't have much family, and I'm starting to get emotional now because I'm only realising this as I turn 40, which is the period that my mom started to drink heavily over the next 45 years, which is when she died at 45. And I can starting to understand more of the things that she potentially might have felt as she transitioned into her 40s. You know, my daughters are like growing up, there's less affection. And one of the things that massively hit me is when Beth was talking about finding your home. She has this wonderful tattoo on her neck that is a reminder that she is home, that her home is in her heart. And I think as mothers, we have a tendency to be a home for our kids, make a home, buy a home. I don't have a home. I don't own a house. I don't have a family home. My parents don't have a family home. So when she said this, I'm like, shit, I don't have a home. Like, and when my kids go, I'm going to feel like I'm losing my home because I've kind of placed my home wherever they are. And I don't think that's healthy for us as moms. You know, if you are in a situation like me as a single mom, you probably have had to rent and not be able to buy a house. So making that brick and mortar type place where you can call your home maybe hasn't happened, but your home is your kids. You give everything to your kids, and that's where you feel like you belong. But when they go, that's probably why my mum struggled. She was the same. She rented, and she bought when we left home because her granddad, my granddad died, left her some money, so she was able to buy. And we thought, amazing, she's finally going to have a home. We're going to have a family home. It didn't happen. It did not happen because no matter how much refurbishment or work she did on this house was not our home, and it was not her home because we weren't there. And I just think for me, I really want to work on the next 5 years is finding my home. Not in a man, not in a building, not in my kids, but just finding my home in me, and it is with you wherever you go. So I'm going to leave it there because I'm getting emotional. Obviously, I've taken so much footage that I'd love to share with you guys. This week has been epic. So it's time for me. It's time for me to fly the nest. I need to go before I miss my flight.